Hi, I'm Dan Maigalan Mapa from EC21, and for today's experiment is experiment 6, loops, break, continue, while, and list. So part 1, loop. Objectives: familiarize the student with using the loop and reflecting real-life situation in computer code. So scenario: do you know what Mississippi is? Well, it's a name of one of the states and rivers in the United States. The Mississippi River is about 2,340 miles long, which makes it the second longest river in the United States. It is so long a single drop of water needs only 90 days to travel in its entire length. So the word Mississippi is also used for slightly different purposes to count Mississippi. So if you're not familiar with the phrase, so we're here to explain to you what it means. So it is used to count seconds. So the idea behind is that adding the word Mississippi to a number when counting seconds aloud makes them sound closer to clock time, and there 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, blah blah blah. So note that code in editor contains two elements, which may not be fully clear to you at this moment. An important time statement and the sleep methods, we're going to talk them soon. So for the time being, we just like you to know that we've imported the time module used to sleep method to suspend the execution of each subsequent print function inside the for loop for 1 second, so that the message outputted to the console resembles an actual counting. Don't worry, you'll soon learn more about the method. So here are the expected output. So let's go right. So import time I equals 0, then for I in range, let's try 6 loops. After we write this code, it will appear 6 Mississippis, semicolon, print I1, comma, Mississippi. Then we should put here +1, and after that time dot sleep. So you need to use this time dot sleep. Then 1, and after that print ready or not. Here I come. So import time I0 for I in range 6, print I +1, comma, Mississippi time dot sleep, print ready or not, then straight import time one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there it has 6 then. As you can see, there's a delay every time the Mississippi comes. Like, it actually counts, or I think it represents seconds, and it has 1 minute, 1 second delay. And that's it. Then now let's proceed to part 2, the break. So familiarize the students with using the break statements in loops, reflecting real-life situation in computer code scenario. The break statement is used to exit terminate loop. So design a program that uses while loop and continuously asks the users to enter a word unless the user enters secret capital. Take note of that, the capital secret. A secret exit word in which the case message you have successfully left the loop should be printed to the screen and the loop should terminate. Don't print any of the words entered by the user. Use the concept of conditional execution and break statement. So let's put some variables here. The first variable is x, then it should be equals to input please enter a word, period. Then let's put some note because it should be capital. It should be in all caps, yun na lang. And then after that, enter then another variable, the x and y variable, then 0, then while y is equals to 1, then x, I forgot semicolon, then x should be equals to input, then we can copy this. And if x is equals to secret, then break. Then print you have successfully end the loop na lang, or exit the loop, end the loop na lang, pwede na. Then let's try ASD or even small letter secret. So we should put big letter secret to exit the endless loop. So there, we have successfully end the loop. And here are the codes that I use. I've made all the codes earlier because I practiced it before making a blog. So basically, the break is used to end an endless loop inside the Python. So part 3. Familiarize the student with using the continuous statement in loops, reflecting real-life situation in computer code scenario. The continuous statement is used to skip the current block and move ahead to the next iteration without executing the statement inside the loop. It can be used with both the while loops and for loops. So our task here is very special. We must assign a variable iter, write a program that uses a for loop, the concept of conditional execution, if else, the continuous statement. Your program must ask the user to enter a word, use user word that upper to convert the words entered by the upper to uppercase. We'll talk about that so-called string methods. Use conditional execution and continues to eat the following. So in this, in part 3, this exercise wants us to remove all the vowel sound and automatically transform the small letter to an uppercase letter. So even we put small letters in the Python, it will automatically appear as capital, and we will use the user word upper. So let's start. User word is equals to input, then enter a word, then we will now copy this, then after that for letter and user word, then if letter is equals to a, semicolon, then continue, then after this we can copy this, excuse me, sorry, I'm not feeling well. Then last one, then let's change this for E I O U, and then after that print letter. Let's try Gregory. Gregory. Oh. Wait, there's something wrong. That's it. I forgot to use the user word. It is equals to user word that upper. So that's why in earlier the codes didn't appear well, or it didn't eat the vowels. So let's try another one. Ang hirap bigkasin. Pero ito, let's go. Abstemious. See? So here are the codes that I have made earlier. So for part 4, familiarize the student with using the while loop, finding the proper implementation of verbally defined rules, reflecting real-life situations in computer code. Listen to this story. A boy and his father, a computer programmer, are playing with wooden blocks. So they are building a pyramid. So their pyramid is a bit weird as it is actually a pyramid-shaped wall. It's flat. The pyramid is taught according to one simple principle. Each lower layer contains one block more than the layer above. So the figure illustrates the rules used the builders. So we can relate this to Fibonacci. So your task is to write a program which reads the number of blocks the builders have and outputs the height of the pyramid that can be built using these blocks. Note, the height is measured by the number of fully completed layers. So, when there's sufficient numbers of blocks and cannot complete the next layer, they have their work immediately. So, hindi siya gagana pag yung number of blocks is kulang. Then, kailangan natin siya gawa ng paraan. So, we will set some variables. So, like, blocks is equals to input enter the number of blocks. Then, bibigay tayo ng variables. For example is, B is equals to blocks. H is equals to height. Then, so B is equals to block. Then, yung height natin is mag-start siya na 0. Kasi normally gawin naman talaga eh. Ang height ay nagsisimula sa 0. So let's go. So while B is less than A, greater, less than A, then semicolon, H is equals to H plus 1 because of the height. Sabi kasi dito ay each lower layer contains one block more than the layer above. So, kaya siya naging H plus 1. Then, enter, because H represents as height. Then, print. The height of the pyramid and else proset na natin siya na ang height ay equals to H at print natin na copy natin ito. Tama. Nakuha na natin ang conditions pero Parang may kulang. So, ito may kulang tayo. Kasi as I said earlier, yung conditions dapat ng ganito ay h plus 1, h plus 1, tapos ang a natin ay next. So, yung a is a plus yung h because yung value ng h natin ay h plus 1. So, this should be a plus h. Then, if b is less than a, then it should be height is equals to h minus 1. Then print pero height, then else height is equals to h. Then let's try. Invalid ang syntax niya kasi enter the number of blocks 6. Let's try yung 6 should be 3. Wait. Magka-conflict. So, supposedly, pag in-input ang 6, 3 ang lalabas. Kasi nagkaroon ako ng typo. Dapat sa while ay dapat greater than and if is less than. So, let's try again. F5, 20. The height of the pyramid should be 5. And there it is. Another one. 2 should be 1. Then, let's try 1,000. 1,000. There it is, 44. So, In my observation, part 4 is kind of related to Fibonacci, which is true, because the concept of these blocks is that if you have one block up in the upper part, the lower block should have two blocks, then continuously. So for example, 1 plus 1 is equals to, then the next question should be 2 plus 1, and the answer must be 3. So that is the concept of the block here. So that's why I conclude that part 4 is related to a Fibonacci sequence, and this part has a tricky question because the builder will stop immediately if the blocks are incomplete. For example, we remove the if here. We just put 5, I think. But if we put 5, it will be automatically 3. See? But the 5 blocks is incomplete because you need 6 to build a pyramid. So let's try the 20. 5, but let's try 25. 7. So we need that and let's proceed. Part 5. List. Objective. Familiarize the student with using basic instruction related to list, creating and modifying list. So, scenario: there once was a hat. The hat contained no rabbit but a list of 5 numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Your task is to write a line of code that prompts the user to replace the middle number in the list with an integer number entered by the user. Step 1. So write the line of the code that removes the last element from the list. Step 2. Write a line of code that prints the existing list. Step 3. So here, let's try. So hat list is equal to, if we are writing a list, always remember to use a bracket. Then enter. Hat list, then input, enter a number. After that, hat list dot remove 5, should be parentheses, and after that print length double parentheses, then print hat list. Now enter a number. Let's try number 8. 4. Then let's try there is something missing. List equals 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So hot list is equals to int input, enter a number, parenthesis, so hot list dot remove 5, then hot list dot remove 5 print length hot list, then print hot list. So try writing that code again. I think that's it. So I noticed while practicing this code that counting of numbers starts in 0, and also the element can also have orders. But there is an exemption because in the list, in this experiment, the counting starts at 1 and not 0. And this happens because the list uses brackets, so we can also replace the element by inputting some codes and determining which element will be replaced. So for the conclusion, I think conclusion for and while loops runs continuously while the other two, while the break statement breaks the loop, and lastly the list it calls out a specific number or a specific element, then it can be replaced. So that's all. I'm then Mike Alimapa from ECE 21.